Hey guys, guess what? This is the final event guide of the 2022-2023 Run Disney on property season. Guess what that means? The perfect Run Disney season is coming to a close, and I feel like it just started, like yesterday. Ready to deep dive into the details of the final event of the season? Top off your gas at Flows, get your Scream canisters ready, and let's go to infinity and beyond. Well, at least around Walt Disney World. For the final time this in-person season, Fair and Kelly greets us with an opening letter talking about how this weekend not only celebrates some of our favorite Pixar friends, but also the power of friendship. I mean, who would Lightning McQueen be without Mater? Or Mike without Sully? Buzz without Woody? Me without you? You get what I'm saying. Once you've read through this main stage, you can take a look through the other sections of the guide. Now let me preface this by saying, if you've watched any of the other guides from this season, a lot of this information will be redundant. Feel free to use the timestamps in the description box below or along the timeline bar to navigate to other sections of the video that you like. First up is the Digital Expo. In this section, you'll find a Pixar-themed playlist, so fun, by the way. Learn about the celebrated charity for the weekend, the Make-A-Wish Foundation. Dive into the special deal for half-price Typhoon Lagoon tickets, and browse some of the show specials from other booths located in the exhibitor hall. There's always a lot of useful information and fun tidbits in this section, so it's definitely worth your time to browse through. Moving on to the official events of the weekend. Springtime Surprise consists of 5 events. Yes, 5, because I count the Expo as an event. This year we have the Expo, Yoga, the 5K, the 10K, and the 10 miler. The Expo. The Expo takes place at the ESPN Wide World of Sports Complex on Thursday, April 13th from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m., Friday, April 14th from 12 p.m. to 6 p.m., and Saturday, April 15th from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Bus transportation to and from the Expo is available from all Disney Resort hotels and is scheduled to begin 30 minutes prior to the Expo opening. As always, you're more than welcome to drive a personal vehicle to the ESPN complex. Gold and Platinum Club Run Disney members, keep your eyes peeled for your email with details about your early entry hours for the first day of the Expo. As with Princess Marathon Weekend and Wine and Dine, a virtual queue will be utilized for the first day only of official Run Disney merchandise, which is located in the Advent Health Arena. How do you join the virtual queue? It's easy. If you've joined a virtual queue for major attractions in the parks like Rise of the Resistance, Guardians of the Galaxy, or even Tron, you'll find this process nearly identical. When you open your My Disney Experience app, go to the hamburger or the 3-line menu at the bottom right of the screen. Once you're there, you'll tap the Virtual Queues button, which will be on the left-hand side, and it's usually the 4th button down on that column. In this screen, you'll see Run Disney Merchandise Virtual Queue or something to that effect as an option listed. Your best advice? Go in and confirm your party early and prior to the 8:30 a.m. queue opening. As always, you can have up to 6 people, including yourself. Don't forget yourself. Remember, we've learned this last time on your list. And once 8:30 strikes, refresh the page and click Join Queue. You'll be assigned a group number and given an approximate return time. Please note, you can only join the queue if you are approximately 45 miles from property or on property already. Also, make sure that your push notifications are enabled, as this will be the way that you're alerted that it's time to go spend money. I mean shop. When it's time for your group to enter the building, you'll pull up the QR code and a cast member will scan it and allow entry into the building. Here's a pro tip. If your entire group is together, only one of you needs to have the QR code pulled up in the app. Now, what if your return time to shop is later in the afternoon? Whatever will you do? Well, you'll shop in the exhibitor hall, of course. The Athletic Center is home to race shirt pickup, which, by the way, you'll have to have a bib to pick up, just FYI. It's also home to the Run Disney Showcase, exhibits and exhibitors, food and beverage, and transportation and event information. Forgot your fuel? Don't worry, there's options there. Forgot your race belt like I did at Princess? Yeah, no worries, plenty of options there as well. You need KT tape? Well, they've got you covered. Last minute costume changes or ideas? Yep, got those too. After you've perused the athletic center options, or before, either way, there are no rules. You do you. Don't forget to pick up your bibs in the State Farm Field House. Not only are your bibs located here, but there's also runner relations and some fun photo ops. In order to pick up your bibs, you'll need your EXPO check-in pass and a valid ID. All together now, there is no day of race bib pickup. So if you're running the challenge or just the 5K, you must pick up your bib on Thursday. You must. Your EXPO check-in pass will be sent to you via email a few days before the event. So once again, keep checking that inbox. Speaking of plans for Thursday, some of you have a date with Hollywood Studios for yoga. I don't. This 1-hour yoga event takes place on Thursday, April 13th and begins at 5 a.m. at Disney's Hollywood Studios. The parking lot for those of you driving personal vehicles will open at 4 a.m. and security will also begin at 4 a.m. Participant check-in begins at 4:15 and you must arrive by 4:45 in order to participate. Make sure that you have your yoga check-in pass as well as a photo ID with you to gain entry into this pre-ticketed event. The exact location of yoga within Hollywood Studios is unknown at the time of this recording, but I think it's pretty safe to assume it'll be in front of Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. Just like with Princess Yoga, spots in the venue are on a first come, first served basis, so plan to be there early if you'd like a spot up close. If you're staying on property, transportation to this event is provided, but it's extremely limited in time window. As with prior yoga experience, if you miss the single bus, you've missed the event because there will not be multiple buses running. The resort routes and specific times are located in the event guide, and I highly suggest that you check those out. Ladies and gentlemen, toys and humans, cars and tow trucks, monsters and doors, start your engines. It's time to turtle talk with me about the running events, or if you're injured like me, the walking events. The 5K. The 5K is Friday morning, April 14th, with a race start time of 5 a.m. and a race start and finish line in the Epcot parking lot. Race transportation will be provided from the Disney Resort Hotel and begins at 3 a.m. If you're driving a personal vehicle, you will need to arrive no later than 4 a.m. Once you arrive on property, you'll be taken through security and then allowed to enter the pre-race staging area. If you need gear check, medical tents, extra safety pins, or athletes with disabilities check-in, you will also find it here. There will be food and beverage to purchase from food trucks and also the event tents located adjacent to the DJ stage. Gotta go right now? Well, don't worry because there's porta potties by the dozens here. The corrals open at 3:45 a.m. and please note that Start Group A will close 20 minutes prior to race start time, so 4:40, and Starting Group B will close 10 minutes prior to race start time, so 4:50. If you are in either one of those corrals and choose to either show up late or lollygag by the stage, you will not be allowed to join the corrals once they have closed. Instead, you'll be taken to the next available corral, which would be C or higher. I will say this is new verbiage to the event guide, and it no doubt comes after marathon weekend and the issues of runners in high corrals showing up late and then jumping barricaded streets in order to reach the higher corral after it had been closed. Just be smart, be aware of the time, and you'll be fine. Remember, the rules are in place not to squash your fun, but to keep you safe and protected. Got it? Good. Spectating. The spectating spots are limited to the start and finish line only for this course. The majority of it is run backstage and on stage at Epcot, and the park will not be open to the general public at that time of the morning. The course. Race start is in the Epcot parking lot with an approximate half-mile tour of the parking lot prior to heading backstage. Mile 1 is located just prior to Test Track, and you will continue through this backstage area and enter World Showcase between Mexico and Norway. The course continues in a clockwise fashion around World Showcase with the one and only water stop being located in the American Adventure Pavilion. Once you've reached France Pavilion, you will cross the bridge as if you're headed to the UK, and then throw that gear shift into off-road as you exit via the International Gateway and proceed backstage at the Skyliner station. Your time backstage will be brief, and once you pass the mile 2 marker, you will find yourself right back in the middle of the world between the UK and Canada. Run your way towards Spaceship Earth, but take a quick right between the Creation Shop and Connections Cafe. After passing Guardians and Mission Space on your left, Test Track on your right, proceed backstage once again and towards the finish line. Ka-chow! Ka-chow! Congrats on your 5K! The 10K. The 10K will be held on Saturday, April 15th. Race start time is 5 a.m. with start and finish locations in the Epcot parking lot. Resort transportation via bus begins at 3 a.m. Those of us riding in personal vehicles must park in the Epcot parking lot with arrival prior to 4 a.m. After the race, bus transportation will be available back to your resort. Once you arrive on Epcot property, you will go through security as if you're entering the park and then walk to the staging area. In this section, you will find gear check, food and beverage for purchase, character photo ops, spectator viewing, and my personal favorite, the DJ stage. Runners, friends, and family can chat and hype each other up in this area until the corrals open at 3:45. Once the corrals open, runners only can proceed to their designated starting group. Your assigned corral will be located in the top of your bib, and it will be the letter A, B, C, D, E, etc. Please note, if you're running with a group and you're in different corrals, the members in the higher corrals can always fall back to the lower ones. You cannot jump into the higher ones in order to run with your friends or family. Also, please note, Start Group A will close 20 minutes prior to race start time, so 4:40, and Start Group B will close 10 minutes prior to race start, so 4:50. And if you're in either of those corrals and choose to either sleep in and show up late or lollygag by the stage, you will not be allowed to join those corrals once they have closed. You will be taken to the next available corral, which is C or higher. And I will say that this is new verbiage in the event guide, and it no doubt comes after the marathon weekend issues of runners showing up late and then jumping barricaded streets in order to reach their higher corrals after they had already been closed. Again, just be smart, be aware of your time, and you will be fine. Remember, the rules are in place not to squash your fun, but to keep you safe and protected. Spectating. Spectating for this distance scares up a few more options for seeing your favorite runner while on course. As with the 5K, the start and finish line areas are a safe bet. However, if you or your family and friends are staying in the Boardwalk or Beach Club area resorts, they'll be able to see you run by. Portions of the course run by Yacht and Beach Club and on the Boardwalk Resort side behind Epcot. It's very common, in fact I have done it, to have a sizable cheer crowd present on this portion of the course. If you choose to drive to the Boardwalk area in order to cheer, you're at the mercy of the gate attendants in order to park. Remember, they are just doing their job and don't deserve your wrath if you're told that you can't park there. A word about spectating at the Boardwalk versus the finish line. Due to the close proximity of the two locations, your friends and family will need to plan to see you at one or the other, not both. Due to road closures and lack of Epcot being open, it will be nearly impossible for them to make it to the finish line before you cross it. The course. Before we take a deep dive into the course, let's discuss the monster in the closet. This is the exact same course as the 2023 Marathon Weekend 10K, so if it feels familiar, it's because it is. The start line is in the Epcot parking lot, the Rocket Lot to be exact, and you'll proceed towards the main gates on Epcot Center Drive. Run through the toll plaza, watch out for those speed bumps, and continue on Epcot Center Drive. Mile 1 is located just prior to the hairpin turn, which turns you back around and headed towards Epcot. Make sure that you wave to the people parallel to you on the course, and there will be a water and medical stop along this section just before you reach Mile 2. Mile 2 is located as you cross back into the Epcot parking lot and make your way backstage. Next up on our Scream tour of the course is the backstage section behind the seas, the land, and the Imagination Pavilion. After you enter back on stage at the Imagination Pavilion, you'll find Mile 3. Continue towards World Showcase and begin your world tour, starting with Canada, where all World Showcase tours should start, okay? Go backstage again between Canada and the UK. There is a water stop located here as well, and knowing how warm it will absolutely be, don't pass up any of the water stops on course. Just don't. Look up in the sky, it's Skyliners! Welcome back on stage at the Skyliner station and continue towards the Yacht and Beach Club. You'll proceed around Crescent Lake until you make it to mile 4, which will be near the Boardwalk Resort. Also, a medical tent will be located just before the bridge connecting the Yacht and Beach and Boardwalk. Finish up the Boardwalk tour and make your way back over the bridge to enter Epcot once again via the International Gateway. Run across the bridge towards France and then back towards Remy and backstage again. This visit backstage isn't very long and you're back on the scare floor between Japan and Morocco. The final water stop is located at the American Adventure Pavilion, and please don't skip it. I'll be watching, always watching. Who am I? Mile 5 is seen between Italy and Germany and you're almost there. Wrap up the visit to World Showcase up towards Spaceship Earth and then take a right turn and run between Creation Shop and Connections Cafe. Leave Epcot backstage between Mission Space and Test Track. Mile 6 is parallel to the show building of Guardians of the Galaxy. One final turn and you're in the finisher chute. Congrats on your 10K. The 10 miler will be held on Sunday, April 16th. Race start time is 5 a.m. with a start and finish location in the Epcot parking lot. Resort transportation via bus begins at 3 a.m. Those of us riding in personal vehicles must park in the Epcot parking lot with arrival prior to 4 a.m. After the race, bus transportation will be available back to your resort. Once you arrive onto Epcot property, you will go through security as if you're entering the park, and then you'll walk to the staging area. In this section, you will find gear check, food and beverage for purchase, character, photo ops, spectator viewing, and my personal favorite, the DJ stage. Runners, friends, and family can chat and hype each other up in this area until the corrals open at 3:45. Once the corrals open, runners only can proceed to their designated starting group. Your assigned corral will be located in the top of your bib and will be the letter A, B, C, D, E, etc. Please note, if you're running with a group and you're in different corrals, the members in the higher corrals can always fall back to the lower ones, but you cannot jump into the higher ones in order to run with your friends and family. Also, please note, Start Group A will close 20 minutes prior to race start time, so 4:40, and Group B will close 10 minutes prior to race start time, so 4:50. If you're in either of those corrals and choose to either sleep in and show up late or lollygag by the stage, you will not be allowed to join in those corrals once they have closed. You will be taken to the next available open corral, so C or higher. I will say this is new verbiage to the event guide, and it no doubt comes after marathon weekend and the issues of runners sleeping in and showing up late or whatever, and then jumping the barricaded streets in order to reach their higher corrals after they had already been closed. So just be smart and aware. Make sure you keep track of your time and you'll be fine. Remember, rules are in place not to squash your fun, but to keep you safe and protected, okay? Spectating. As with the other races this weekend, spectating options are at the start and finish lines, but also a few places around the course. Portions of the course run by the Boardwalk Resort side of that area behind Epcot. A word about spectating at the Boardwalk versus the finish line. Due to the close proximity of the two locations, your friends and family will need to plan to see you at either one or the other, not both. Due to the road closures and the lack of Epcot being open at that time, it will be nearly impossible for them to make it to the finish line before you cross it. Another option would be to cheer and spectate from the Skyliner station at Hollywood Studios. The Skyliner usually begins running 60 to 90 minutes prior to park opening. If your family or cheer squad are staying in a Skyliner resort, they may be able to make it to Hollywood Studios by the time you reach it. A word of caution though, Hollywood Studios is just through the 5K point on this 10-mile course, so this option is absolutely a gamble for cheering, especially if you're on the quicker side and will make it to and through Hollywood Studios in under an hour. My honest opinion, you're better off cheering from the Epcot parking lot or the finish line. While this course is scenic and jam-packed with things to see for the runners, it's not the most spectator-friendly. The course. For the final time this season, we'll kick things off in the Epcot parking lot before heading in almost the reverse of what we would have run the morning prior if you ran the 10K, with the exception of the first mile. Mile 1 is located backstage near Test Track. Continue backstage until you reach the entrance of World Showcase between Mexico and Norway. The first water stop is located at the American Adventure Pavilion, and you'll head backstage between Japan and Morocco and come back on stage at Remy's in France. Mile 2 will be on the bridge that connects France to the UK. You will take that bridge and run through the UK and leave once again backstage between the UK and Canada, somewhere in the neighborhood of the red phone booths. The first medical tent will be located here as well. Are you ready to make your way to Hollywood Studios? It's time! You'll run around the boardwalk side of Crescent Lake before making your way through No Personal Space Alley. Mile 3 and a water stop will be located at the boardwalk tennis courts and just before you cross under East Buena Vista Drive. Run up towards the front of Hollywood Studios, but quickly dip backstage before coming back onto Hollywood Boulevard. Halfway up the boulevard, you will take the left-hand fork and run around the backside of Echo Lake near Hollywood and Vine, 50's Primetime Cafe, and the Indiana Jones Epic Stunt Spectacular. Be sure to tell Elsa to just let it go, waka waka with the Muppets, and then prepare to enter a galaxy far, far away, Galaxy's Edge. This is probably my favorite stretch of this entire course. It is a full run through of Galaxy's Edge and Toy Story Land. Andy's coming! Just kidding, don't drop on the course, you could hurt someone or yourself. Mile 4 is at the entrance of Toy Story Land, and just keep running and make your way towards the Hollywood Studios arch. Smile big because there will most likely be a PhotoPass photographer here as well. Make a quick left and begin to run up Sunset Boulevard towards Fantasmic and the Tower of Terror. Exit the park near Fantasmic, and there will be a water and medical tent at the exit of Hollywood Studios. Remember, don't skip these water stops. After exiting the park, you'll find yourself on East Buena Vista Drive until you reach the ramp, which will redirect you onto World Drive. Mile 5 will be at the top of the ramp, and another medical tent will be located just after you make it onto World Drive. The good news is that you'll only be on the highway for just over a mile before you're home free and back on Epcot property. Mile 6 is on World Drive, and just through it, you'll find the only nutrition stop this entire course. Water follows nutrition, and a hairpin turn takes you onto Epcot Center Drive and through to Mile 7, to the medical tent and beyond. Just kidding. A medical and water tent are located just prior to Mile 8 and the final hairpin turn of this course. Welcome back to Andy's room. Enter backstage at Epcot near the resort bus bays and continue backstage, and you will see the final medical and water stops of this 10-mile course. Mile 9 is located near the Imagination Pavilion and also serves as your final entrance on stage for this course. We'll run by the construction walls and make our way back towards Creation Shop and Connections Cafe. Final stretch here is the same as it has been for the other two races, exiting between Mission Space and Test Track, with the Mile 10 marker being your finish line in Epcot's backyard. Congrats on the 10-miler. Now that we've gotten race and course specific info out of the way, let's briefly talk about some general tidbits for the weekend. First of all, let's talk race etiquette. Wearing headphones is fine, but please be aware of your surroundings, especially in the corrals and the starting area. Cast members and MC staff will be relaying important information to you via the PA system, and you'll want to be able to hear it. Next, make sure that your bib is on the front of your person, the front of your person. Your bib has to be completely visible so that it can let runDisney staff know that you're supposed to be there, and so you can get your race photos after the race. If at any point you are caught on course without your bib, you will be removed. This is a safety issue for all other runners and cast members, and everyone wants to ensure the safety of the runners who are supposed to be there on course. Please only enter the start corral that you are assigned to unless you're falling back to run with friends. For example, if you are assigned Corral B, but your friends are all in D, you, my B friend, can fall back with them, but they cannot join you in the higher corral. Cast members and volunteers do check bibs at the entrance of the corrals, and they will send you packing if you're caught trying to jump ahead. If you're running with a group, try to keep it only 2 walkers or runners wide. Walking 3, 4, or 5 or more across clogs the course as the runners behind you are unable to pass. Also, it's the perfect opportunity for me to play Red Rover with you and just like bust through your line, which I've done, and it's really fun for me. Just don't be those people. If you're running intervals, proper etiquette is for runners to be on the left side of the road and walkers to be on the right side. Raise your hand as you approach your walking segment so as to warn people around you that you will be changing speeds. If you don't raise your hand to warn and then just abruptly stop or slow down, you risk injuring not only yourself, but those around you who will absolutely run into you. Biggest take home in regards to etiquette is to remember the golden rule. Treat others as you would want to be treated. And I'm adding this one on. Remember that you are not the only runner on the course. Also, as with everything, it is what you make of it. Don't let someone's bad attitude or morning grouchies ruin your experience. PhotoPass, let's talk photos. On the back of your bib, as well as in the digital event guide, you will find a code to enter on your My Disney Experience app and get your race pictures. If you've purchased Memory Maker or you have an annual pass with Memory Maker, you will have unlimited downloads of these photos. If you haven't purchased Memory Maker, you'll still be able to see the pictures, but they will have watermarks on them and you will be unable to download them. PhotoPass photographers will be located all along the course, but in greatest numbers in and around the theme parks. You will absolutely be able to see them by their giant rectangle lights and neon green huts. They look like laundry hampers, and there will always be more than one photographer, and they are trained to take pictures very quickly. Please do not stop in front of them. They got your picture, I promise. Also, please do not dart in front of other people in order to get the shot. Again, they got it, promise. Remember, your bib must be worn on the front of your person with the number visible so that your photos can be correctly sent your direction. Y'all, we made it! The final event guide video of the 22-23 runDisney in-person race season. I hope this answered any and all burning questions about Springtime Surprise Weekend, the courses, the expo, yoga, and whatever else you could think of. If by chance we didn't cover something here, please refer to the digital event guide linked below or leave your questions down in the comments section. Hope to see y'all next week. Make sure that you like, comment, subscribe, tell your friends, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!